Daredevil Born Again season 1 has just ended, and the big question is, how's it compared to the Netflix show? And is it as good? And the answer is so simple. Fuck no.
I mean, there's all sorts of reasons as to why it's not, but mainly the writing. The writing is just it, it's
It's shit.
it's night and day, man. I mean, the writing of those first three seasons is just some of the best shit on TV that you can. I mean, everything from the dialogue, which was critiqued by the showrunners here. They were like,
These
well,
guys are
it's just
high.
too much dialogue between characters, too much time talking, and there was action, but here it's less of that and more action. I don't know what the hell that guy's on, man, but no, it's not what I got. Are there good moments in this show? Sure, but does it save this season? Griff thought I was gonna love this episode.
I'm so glad you
It's
did. I was so worried. God.
it just I'm way under the weather, but I promise you that does not affect my opinion of this show. I've sat through every episode each week, and I am the biggest fan of this character, or one of the big, I can't claim to be the biggest fan, but one of the biggest fans of these characters. And there's nothing more in the world that I would want than to sit here and praise this show. I love Charlie Cox. I love Deborah. I love Vincent D'Onofrio. I think they're great in their parts and they're doing their jobs. They're great with the material that they're given. John Barenthal, I've said it time and time again. I think he is Punisher. I think he's
He's
perfect.
amazing.
The best scenes in this episode are with Deborah Ann Wool as Karen Page, Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox, John Barenthal, aka the Punisher. You take those scenes away, and this episode fucking sucked. It just didn't make any sense. The writing was as the worst that it's been in all eight episodes is in this episode. The
That
writing's
says a
just all over
lot.
the fucking place. All over the fucking place. Some of the and I knew because I had some friends that had they were just privileged that way that they were allowed to watch the whole show. And they did tell me that, some of this stuff wasn't going to get tied up. I'm not
None
complaining
of it
about
was
that
tied
stuff.
up.
I'm okay with cliffhangers. It's just some of this shit. Well, let's be honest. 98% of the shit didn't make any sense. The whole flashback scene with Vanessa and the way that Poindexter gets out of jail, and let alone that, but the reason which we've all been wondering for fucking, I don't know, years now,
Yeah.
how did Fisk get out of jail makes, I'm telling you, no goddamn sense.
And
It
Edward's a
just
lawyer. He
it
knows this shit.
doesn't make any goddamn sense whatsoever. Foggy explained how well that would play out in season three. He tells Karen, he's like, yeah, a person that's on their deathbed or thinks they're going to die, it's just, it doesn't, because Agent Nadim was in on it, it's kind of shaky. So he got, he got the charges removed. That's fucking stupid. It doesn't make any sense. That was weird. Okay, so she got him out. Fisk telling her, I know Vanessa, and then they're just all of a sudden this $1 billion like giant plot is behind the scenes and they're all in on it. And man. Okay, so the vigilante task force is out there also, and I just told Griff this. Seriously, fuck Heather. I was team Heather. Fuck her. She's the worst, officially the worst girlfriend alive. Like Matt got shot and he's at the hospital. And I get it. She's all like, how does, like, what's going on? She's trying to figure shit out. But the way the next day she's basically like, all right, the entire power of the entire city's power was shut down.
His
My
apartment blew
boyfriend's in the
up.
hospital. His apartment just blew up. She doesn't even try to be like, hey, I'm wondering if she could have called, what's her name? Kristen? Hey,
Yeah.
Kristen, do you know anything? Like, how's Matt do? Nothing. She just goes to Fisk's office. She's like, yeah, I'm on your team. Like, fuck her to the ground. And you know what? I just realized this right now. This would have been a perfect episode for Detective, whatever the fuck rank he is now, Mahoney, to come in and be like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's take this fucker down.
God, if
I
he was in the
knew,
ending scene too, that would have been good.
I knew the commissioner was gonna bite the dust.
Oh yeah, you
But
called
god
that from
damn,
what was it, episode 2? Episode 3, you clocked
Dude,
that
I'm
early.
not a fan of fucking people getting their head smashed, man.
I
I'm
think this is
not.
the most gruesome kill Kingpin's ever done. I think
I
this
don't
is
know about that.
more
I
than
mean,
okay,
that they've
okay.
shown.
That they've shown, yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to
Yeah.
say. That they've shown on screen the most gruesome.
Yeah, that was fucked up. But I still think that in some way, unless the writers fucked that up too, the commissioner is going to be at least a big part of how Kingpin gets taken down. Uh, his vigilante task force. Okay, I am officially on Griffin's side on this. See, I've been the defending counsel of this shit for the last 8 episodes, but there's this part where they're just shooting people in the streets. This kid's like stealing a fucking radio or something, gets shot in the chest, and this asswipe just puts a hoodie on his. He's like, no, he's a vigilante. I'm like, God, that was lame. All right, I can't defend this shit anymore.
Not to mention, there are people who are more violent out there that are throwing like, throwing
Yeah, you
Molotov
shoot the one
cocktails,
kid
and this
stealing a
guy's just.
radio. God,
Not to mention, he surrendered. His hands
yeah.
were up. He dropped everything. Still shot him. And there's people who are just throwing
Like
Molotov
nobody's
cocktails. It's
wondering like why the entire power grid of the entire city was shut off. Like the next day on the lame ass BB report,
fuck the
they're
BB
just
report.
yeah, fuck that, fuck BB, fuck the report. It's
God,
it.
we had hope for her too after last episode.
She did it. She had a great seventh episode.
Yeah,
Here,
that was
she was
episode 8.
non-existing. Her her character just went bland.
She
That
wasn't in this
Wesley
episode.
2.0 dude, all he ever did was just show up and try to kill Matt. I thought Matt was gonna whoop his ass. That didn't happen. Matt just escapes. Okay. Then he goes home. And I honestly thought, and I was against it at the moment, but I told Griff, I'm like, man, I'm not really pro like Matt getting outed and then like,
I really thought
because
they were
that's
going
not
to here.
really, yeah, I thought they were gonna take that route. They didn't. It's just, which makes no goddamn sense because the cops, the anti-vigilante force, show up to his apartment, so they know.
Yeah.
I don't think Kingpin was just like, yeah, just go arrest or kill Matt Murdock. He had to have been like, yeah, go get this asshole. Uh, Frank is there when I initially when Matt starts talking, he's like, "You're the last person," and it's Frank. I was like, "How the fuck did he get here?" We knew he was gonna be there. I this is the part that I did like. I did like him saying, "Hey, I got a phone call, get you out of the city."
But you know
I
what's
would have
kind of
preferred.
weird with that though? That I'm thinking about it. Karen was in San Francisco, right?
Hmm.
So she got on a plane, flew to New York, which is six hour flight. Not to mention booking a flight, waiting for flight. I don't think there's enough time for that.
Well, no, there's not.
It's
But that's
not.
just it proves that the writing sucks. And maybe we're nitpicking at shit, but
No,
remember,
there's just
we
all
love
this.
these characters. So if we nitpick, it's because there's shit to nitpick about. We
Yeah.
I want to sit
I
here and tell
This is
you how
not a
great this
nitpick. This is
was.
just blatant bad writing. A nitpick is like complaining that again, like I complained about last episode, that their numbers were made up. That's a nitpick. This is blatant oversight.
So Frank is there to save Matt. His apartment gets trashed. I do think that they kept it to Frank being Frank. He
Yeah.
fucking went through them like butter. He was not holding back. And it's funny because seconds before, he tells him, he's like, these guys come through here. I'm not fucking playing patty
I don't know
cake
what
with them.
Matt
He
expected.
didn't. Yeah, I know. I know. I never know what Matt expects, man. Um, I'm sure he was glad for the help. So
Oh,
anyway, the
absolutely.
apartment gets trashed. Matt's trying to hold his own, even though he's shot. Punisher's just rampaging through these fucking guys, which I love. And then they gotta leave because I guess the big guns are coming in. Some asshole throws a grenade and they hook shot out of it. Hook shot, like if it's Link. They hook shot out of there, and then they land on some car. And Karen shows up. I would have preferred for that scene to have been at the end because I thought that's how it ends. They just
And she
leave the
didn't do
city.
anything this episode anyway.
They just end up at Frank's uh, hideout. He offers them coffee. They don't want coffee, so he's like, "I fuck you guys," which is stupid as hell because he's sitting there like patrolling what they end up going to anyway, and he goes at it alone. He gets his ass kicked ultimately, which does make sense because it was too. I would have called BS if he would have got through all those dudes by himself.
It's so funny they're
Honestly,
using rubber bullets. They were
I
asking
thought
to get
Matt was gonna
killed.
show up and
Yeah.
help him. No, Karen and Matt do show up, and then Karen's like,
Then they fucking leave.
"Don't go because you're just gonna get your ass kicked or shot." And then Matt, I thought Matt was gonna fight her on this, be like, "No, Karen," like he normally does in the Netflix show, and be like, "No, Karen, I gotta go in there and do my thing." No, this asshole's like in costume is like, "No, you're right. Let's build an army." And I'm thinking, okay, let's build an army. Okay, maybe we could save the episode. And then Jesus Christ in heaven. They go to Josie's place, which I'm thinking that's okay. They're gonna talk some shit through. They open the door, and I swear to God, I thought we were gonna get fucking Elektra, uh,
Defenders.
the Defenders,
I honestly thought
at
we
the
were getting Miss
very least, the
Marvel.
Defenders. Nope. We got Josie. We got what's his fucking name?
Fucking Cherry.
Barney, fucking Cherry, and some other Asian cop lady who had a minor role in the show, and some other ass cops that we've never seen, and that was his. And I was like, "Fuck
That's how this
me."
show ended.
That was fucking horrible, dude. Like
Yeah.
that's okay. Maybe you guys are gonna be like, Edward, you're just trying to find
No.
shit not to like. You
No.
understand that Matthew Murdock knows the goddamn Defenders, right?
Yep.
Like on a speed dial level, knows them. He calls these assholes. Like, what are the other guys on fucking leave? I get the Avengers are out there non-existing and multiversal crap, but these dudes, that shit, man.
It was weak
I get it. Spider-Man
for
because
legal
Sony
reasons.
sucks.
Yeah.
I get that. But fuck, dude. You could have at least called what's his name? The dude with the Iron Fist.
Dude, there's so many people could have
I
called.
mean,
Jessica Jones was originally in this show too, and they cut her out.
god damn it.
There, even with everything Edward said, which I 100% agree with, I don't think he's nitpicking at all. I think it's harder to find things that you enjoy about this episode than things you don't like. But even
That's
with
sadly
that,
true.
I think there are still things I just dislike about this episode on top of that. This episode, coming from episode 8 to this, is not cohesive at all. The first scene is the only cohesive scene, and then in the context of the rest of the episode, doesn't make a lick of sense for why it's here. It's the only fucking scene with Bullseye's a flashback. It makes no sense how you go
They
from
didn't even get into how that motherfucker escaped. Like no one cared. There was
not
a
to,
sniper on the
dude,
goddamn
this
thing.
fucking
No one.
sucks. And not to mention when kind of I defended Matt last episode with taking the bullet for Fisk, and then
Oh
he's
my
sitting
god, I
in the
forgot about that
hospital
shit.
bed and straight up point blank asked, "Why did you defend him?" I don't know. He could have at least just said that, like,
Dude,
relieving
Frank
the
asks him
law.
that.
He could have
And
said
again, he
so many
doubles down.
fucking things. Yeah, he doubled
He
down,
doubles down.
and then he
He's
goes on
like,
this whole crusade about how he needs to take down Fisk. I was like, you could have taken down Fisk by just letting
I told you
Bullseye
that shit
fucking
didn't
do it.
make any sense.
Dude, I gave the writers of the show way too much fucking credit. Okay, I believe comic Matt Murdock would have taken that bullet for Fisk. Fuck whatever Born Again Matt's on. The writing in the show is terrible. I've been saying that since the first episode, and this episode and this show, as Edward said, has great moments, sure. But the cohesiveness of it and how this show tells a story is so sloppy and all over the place. I can't believe that it was what episode was Hector killed? 3, 4?
I think four.
Anyways, yeah, like 5 episodes ago, and we now get the first mention of his killer since then. That's stupid as fuck.
You
And
know
not
what else
to
is also stupid as fuck now that you mentioned that? They
what?
haven't even they've never mentioned Muse one goddamn time
Yeah,
after they
because
shot.
they
Like
fucking
once.
wasted Muse. Muse is so wasted here. If they have an after credit scene, which could have just been a scene in the episode. It's a shitty after credit scene. But if Muse was the after credit scene, sure. But they fucking wasted Muse. This shit sucks. And I will say there is one thing I did like aside from everything Edward said. About the actors. I do like how we finally got the confrontation between Punisher and the Anti-Vigilante Task Force and the Punisher's message. because I think it parallels real life so well because there's so I see this all the time, like all the stickers on a bunch of pickup trucks and like policemen and army people using the Punisher symbol but not understanding what it means. I love that we're finally seeing that addressed in the show. I know it's been addressed by the comic writers in the past, but I don't get
That is good.
why his message and what he stands for is so misconstrued all the time. The Punisher is what happens when the justice system and the law enforcement fails. So the fact that they're using it, and not to mention with what they're doing, is just so ironic, and I love it. That is something I've been looking forward to. I do like how all the anti-vigilante task force does have the skull on their chest now because yeah, I like that. I like the parallels to real life, but I cannot wait for Punisher to run a train on them all and fuck them all because he's gonna kill all of them. He knows all their faces. They are
Speaking of,
dead.
remember that one cop at the end?
Yeah.
He's like, "Thanks for giving me a moment of your time," and he fucking goes to
What a
shake. I was like, "God
dumbass.
damn it, dude! He can't
Also,
be that fucking dumb." It's just
what,
the writing. It's not the
not
cop
to
who's
mention
that
all
big
the
of a dumbass.
blatant
It's the
kidnapping.
writers.
Yeah, what are they gonna? How is all this kidnapping gonna be addressed? Like he's kidnapped super prominent figures. I wonder how they're gonna deal with that. God, I was somewhat excited for season two because the rewritten episodes for overall were good. But after this and the set pictures we've seen, I am terrified. We know it's
I'm
probably going to be out next
excited.
year, but I'm terrified. At least my
I'm
expectations are
excited
better.
because I want to believe, and this is just me trying to be hopeful and
Naive,
having
maybe.
faith.
Naive.
Yeah. The kid, the Daredevil fan in me wants to believe that because of the overhaul, because of the fucking uh
Shit.
the strike, the writer strike, the actor strike, I want to believe that since season two doesn't have any of that going on, it's going to be good. But please, if season two sucks, man, I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, at that point, what do you do as Kevin Feige? Either you fucking
Reboot.
quit your job or you say, fuck this. Let's call the dude that did the Netflix show and have him do this.
Yeah, God, it's Disney. They have so much fucking money. They could afford it. They could pay the royalties. They could pay the Netflix team.
I get
Oh,
because of legal reasons they couldn't just be Daredevil season four, which we all know
yeah.
this is season four. That's just what it is.
They even like addressed
Um,
the bullseye surgery, kinda.
but if you're gonna do that, then just spend the fucking extra bucks and which I mean, maybe you could have even gotten him for cheaper if you could have given him like a 2 season deal. If you could come to terms with the guy and be like, look, we want you over here. We can't pay you like we can't liquidate what maybe Netflix would have paid you, but we'll give you a good salary.
It's
Just come write the show.
sad
I don't think that guy would have
because
been like, no way, man, fuck you guys. If he's free, I'm sure he would have been like, yeah, sure. It was there. He's commented on this shit. He was like, oh,
yeah.
my season would have been, it would have
Oh
had
God, it would have been
Typhoid
good.
Mary.
And then Bullseye
It,
season
it,
5. The
God damn
sad
it.
thing is I think if the show wasn't renewed for season 2 already and they're not already filming, I would be
Oh, yeah,
hesitant to renewing it because say what you will about this show. But if you're not a fan of Daredevil, I do not think they converted many fans who haven't seen the Netflix Daredevil series. Because as Edward said, this is essentially season 4. If you go in to watch this show, not season the previous 3 seasons, you're gonna be all super lost. But not to mention, Disney did release the numbers, and for the 5 days for the premiere, they got a few million people in those 5 days. But guess what? The Acolyte had several million more, and that show was shit. And I don't think the show would have been renewed after this season.
I,
Not to
I'm
mention,
telling you, I
as you said,
promise you, man,
they're not going to make money from this.
we're not trying to sit here and shit on this show. I would have wanted nothing more than to have watched a show that I loved because it's a character that I love. It's characters that I love.
Yeah.
My favorite episode was episode 5, I believe.
Yep.
Still is the bank episode. That he's never even in the suit. Um, but I think that's the best episode in the season. My favorite scene of the entire season is the scene where he first encounters Frank Castle again. He's all
Absolutely.
fucking long haired and bearded up. I think that scene is very well written. It's got great emotion. I still think every actor in here, except for Cherry, is great.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not on Cherry's, on the actors.
It's
Yeah,
just
it's
the
just the way
role's
it's written.
stupid.
I don't like Michael Gandolfini's character. In fact, I've grown to hate his character. I think the character's just,
He's a
he's
kiss
there
ass.
to, yeah, BB, you got to do some shit to win me over in season two.
Seems useless.
I, I'll be watching it,
I
hoping
did
that it'll be
like
good. But
that
if
the
it's
other social outreach person flopped. I did like that.
true,
But yeah,
but I hate the
this
goddamn BB report. I hate the writing in this show.
just for season one alone, if season two is not better, and whenever I rewatched Marvel or Daredevil, I think I'm skipping this.
I have to interrupt you there. It doesn't have to, remember, we're not trying to like the all the assholes that did the other Terminator movies. They were all like, "What are you aiming for?" We want to be better than three.
I just
No,
want it to be good and to make sense.
season two has to be fucking leaps and bounds better than season three.
Yeah.
Leaps and bounds.
Well, this season,
You know
right?
what your bar is?
This season?
The Netflix show.
Well, yeah. Just- We get
Fucking
fucking
showrunners,
Shadowland, and
whatever
so
you
far
do.
Shadowland makes zero sense. So
Okay,
fuck this
I was
shit.
gonna leave, and I'm sick as fuck, and I'm going to bed. But now, since I thank God he brought that up. Okay, so I was when we all seen.
Oh,
If you haven't seen it, leave in 3 seconds. Season two, we're getting Shadowland suit, but it's not really the Shadowland suit. Basically, it's Matt Murdock just grabbed the red suit that we all seen here, and he spray paints it black. And you can tell he spray paints it because there's shots where you could still see some of the red. I was excited for that because I was like,
yeah.
oh, he got outed, so he can't just go back to his apartment, which blew up, and just pick out one of his suits.
Not to mention he's darker
But
and killing
now,
people.
but now, that doesn't make any goddamn sense because, well, this suit's intact. And we see him at the end of it wearing it and just kind of like rides off into the
And just
sunset with
standing
his
there
new army.
awkwardly in front of 10 people
So, so if the whole purpose of the Shadowland suit is just because Matt's like, I
against
hope I'm
Kingpin.
fucking wrong.
It's
No,
probably
if he
just to
does
go against the white of Kingpin.
that's actually, dude, I am way more concerned about it being that you remember emo Peter Parker when he goes
How
dark
can
and
I
he just puts
forget
on
emo
black
Peter
clothes
Parker?
and does his fucking hair like that? I swear to God, if Matt Murdock does his fucking hair like that and he just starts spray painting his red suit black because that's how it shows his inner darkness,
We can skip season two reviewing it at that point, can't we? If we see that happen.
I don't know. But Shadowland suit means something I know we never get direct comic adaptations. I get that 100%. But then why do you even have him walking around in the fucking Reds? Oh, and for all you Double D fans, yeah, they're just spray. Yeah, it's just Matt going psst, spray paint on this fucking. They're not actually. Yeah, it's just a year from now, man. We'll
Fuck
see.
this
But
show.
this, it breaks my heart. Season one of Daredevil Born Again. Season fucking four of Daredevil. Not great, man.
Hopefully season five's better. Thank you so much for watching, Lista. What you thought about episode 9 of Daredevil Born Again, and what you thought about the series as a whole. And if you want to have some fun with Daredevil, go check out our Daredevil tier list, where we rank every Daredevil costume that's been out from comics to live action.
And we talk about the Shadowland one.
Yeah.